Right, sorry about the extra long load screen this time. And welcome Crawler E. Koner and Professor J. Bolt. Dieb story, I can't read the rest of it because it's cut off. And boy howdy, I sure hope that you guys are excited to watch me really rip into a game, because I think that's what's gonna have to happen. Like, I don't think there's another option here. I just So, full disclosure, I don't know anything about this game. I don't know how bad it is. I don't know if it's actually good. I don't know if it has gameplay mechanics. But I mean, I should have taken the pastel colors on the Steam page as an extremely explicit warning. I think I spoke of this with, what did I call it? Bleakest Keep, where the fact that they had Big Titty Goth GF prominently featured on the front and all the marketing material honestly communicated the idea that their goal was, how do you say, make the player enjoy themselves? Like, it's the opposite of all of the games that deliberately have ugly female characters to try to push a message. Its goal was to have a good game in order to make sure you had a good time. And I kind of get the opposite impression from the title screen of this game. Oh, by the way, I've completely redid my audio setup yet again. Does it finally sound good? Does it finally sound good? That's what I need to know. Is there a huge amount of background noise? Can you hear the dogs barking? Like what? Nothing for no one? Alright. Sounds fine so far. Does it sound better than it used to is the real question. Because it used to sound dog shit. Does it no longer sound dog shit? My test recording has seemed fine, but I have a horrible ear for doing audio stuff. Like, I can do pitch, I can do music, I can identify how distant and from what angle a gunshot rang out from. But, like, audio engineering, nah. I guess that's particularly all that I wanted to ramble about before the stream. I could ramble about other stuff, but I don't have any particular reason to, because I did finish my coffee before stream this time. Even though I got a bit distracted during the loading screen and didn't do a thing. Look, it's fine. It's fine, alright. So, oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, art that's like, these are logos. These aren't necessarily by themselves bad. This is a red flag. The fact that it's supported by some big fancy paid group almost always means that it's going to be dog shit. Just unforgivable dog shit. The fact that it throws accessibility settings at you immediately is also a, how you say, a form of virtue signaling, where they want to make it very clear that they're committed to specific agendas, let's say. That was like, that's no good. And then we get to this. Seeks to raise awareness. That means that the goal of this game isn't to be an enjoyable experience. It's meant to preach to ya. And it shows you this every single time. Also, hello, Guy5701. And I agree. And, like, I can already roughly tell that this is going to be either something that's like subtly pro-pedophilia, like a lot of them are, or it's going to have a particular racial animus. I can just tell, just from this. The pastel colors with the, the light pink and the light blue and the, trying to look all sketchy and... what would you even call this? What is the term for this art style? It's not a theme one can make an enjoyable game. Oh, it absolutely is. Fucking Silent Hill 2 is a very enjoyable game, and it has that as a theme. Like, you absolutely can do this well. Silent Hill 2 did not have a thing about trying to raise awareness. It, just had a character have problems caused by it and struggle to deal with it. And that is all you need to do when dealing with something like this. That is how you handle heavy topics. You don't do this huge disclaimer unless you're deliberately trying to score points by, how you say, influencing the audience to agree with you by signaling that you're part of their tribe. Also, I just noticed all of the I's are lowercase. Is this the same handwriting font that Strongbad uses? It might be. Anyway, oh yeah, there's also a big ol' content warning right on the front of the screen. And, I'm not gonna click on it. I'm just gonna stare at it in pure contempt and disgust. So you can see, hopefully now, I already have a bad opinion of this game. Like, heck, just look at what Fear and Hunger did. Hey, warning, this game is fucked up. If you don't like fucked up games, find a different game. Done. You don't have multiple splash screens, you don't have a content warning on, like, the main thing. It's like, come on. Hey, where did it... Yeah, that's what I've been ranting about for the past, like, 20 minutes. And how this is almost undoubtedly a sign that this is going to be a fucking terrible game. And hello, Cool Boy Mew. You're late. Minus 10 points. Yeah, no. That's what I was saying, Mew. Oh boy! A pseudo-intellectual quote at the start. Let's go! Udlowski. That's a Polish name. I wonder if that's a Polish, I was with the moderate media, what I see on the internet, no one else, and I refuse. Exactly, Wordy Dirt. You get it? Why the content warning for my game is that, it's just gonna be, this game contains dark and disturbing themes. If you are sensitive to that in media, you should probably find a different one. Okay, we clicked the only button to click. What happens? Yep. I'm looking real close to this pixel art. It might just because be the res. Oh, I should probably expand this a bit in OBS. No, it's fine as is. I'm gonna complain about mixed pixel resolutions, but that might just be because of the resolution I'm running the game at. Advisor Orko. Okay, cool. Oh, I don't get to enter that, apparently. Fuck? This is weird and I don't like it. Okay, so it's Roller Coaster Tycoon. There's a there's a memory attached to each ride that'll be activated when it's built. Okay, I mean the pixel art isn't bad. Memory should start flooding back. You can tell this was designed by someone who spends way too much fucking time playing video games online, because they're linking memories coming back to, oh boy, here we go. I can already, this is gonna be ham-fisted, awkward, unsubtle, and in your face. There's going to be no nuance, no subtlety, just like, here's the thing, look at it. Which, I mean, you can make here's the thing, look at it work, but you have to be aware that you're doing it. And I don't think this game is going to be aware that it's doing it. Like, generally the way you want to actually do here's the thing and look at it is to simply let it stand on its own and trust the audience to apply their own value judgment to it. Like, you don't have a character, like, die from blood loss and then go, oh, that was tragic, she must have suffered a bunch. And try to coach the audience through what they're supposed to feel or how they're supposed to interpret it about it. That you just have someone bleed to death. And then have a character react to it in a way a human would react to it. Let's find out if this does that! Head of a thriving company, amazing house, more grandchildren. But I was wrong. Missing love. Let's go with the funniest option. Got this for free and I want a refund already. Yeah! Vicky was driving the Chevy, sleeping in her bed. I mean, if it hadn't already spoiled my mood with the initial presentation, I could almost be getting into this. By picking the dumb options and seeing what happens. I'm gonna go with I killed this. Hello, son 312772. Fuck this about. It's already doing the thing where it's not characters, like even in that small bit right there of well, not technically nameless, but unimportant side characters. They're already trying to justify people doing things, but oh no, you'll hurt people. It's just, I really wish I was more articulate about why that's so viscerally disgusting. Is it a lack of agency? Is it none of the characters show agency? Is that their evil is rooted in ignorance, not selfishness? Possibly a combination of the two. Oh, I thought he was, you can see my cursor, right? I thought he was like awake and had these really tiny irises. All right, Wordy, remember to leave the tab open to artificially inflate my viewer count. Lots of things happen, nothing makes sense. Oh, dang it, Wordy! Oh, come on, you got like a computer or something, or a remote log into it. Wait, is this supposed to be a woman? With the hair ridiculously that short and, not a female body type at all? Oh boy. Oh boy. Hey, Richard Town Ellie. No. I wish it was. I would probably spend less time, like, shitting on the game. Not working Wednesdays too. Characters telling you about themselves and not letting the audience infer it from their behavior. Outright saying, that makes me feel angry, or I have a tough life. You can't have characters just tell you how you feel. That makes me feel disappointed. Ooh, Richard Town Ali, thank you so much for. Oh, it mostly worked.
Devotion to the attendant
the bar didn't update the way I wanted it to, but mostly worked.
Of my grandmother.
Anyway, Richard Town Ali, I really hope your grandmother didn't have like an ultra masculine haircut and like no breasts, because maybe she actually reminds you of your grandfather? So what is this game exactly? I don't know, but I hate it. I don't know anything about this game, just that I don't like it. It did a bunch of performative virtue signaling at the start, and I find that disgusting. Old people TV. Exit. Are they like Italian or what? What virtues was signal? Oh, it had this whole huge content warning, and then like a disturbing thing warning, and then another content warning on the menus, and it's just like ah. Getting in flat. Elderly. The legendary real-life Lollibaba. Okay. Or I guess Lollibaba? I can never pronounce that word right. It's not like it's a word I speak aloud. Okay. So we unlocked a memory by building a thing. Great. I don't know, there's something about the way he addresses the player that's like creepily doting. I'm struggling to articulate it. I'm not good at articulating this kind of thing. Beyond that, I'm not fond of it. They don't particularly need to articulate this thing beyond I don't like this most of the time. Smothering, maybe? Maybe that's the word? Artificial, perhaps? Condescending, like you're being spoken down to like you're a child. Here we go. Oh boy. Explicitly, oh, another content warning because we're such a super serious game. And here's an extra button for content warning. Oh my god. Yeah, spoil it for me. Go to turn to masturbation. Yep. Yep, kinda figured this would be suddenly pro-pedophilia. Have the money for it. The question mark means nothing. Hey, let's just go straight to the bad times. I don't think there's any actual decisions to make when you build the thing. It's just that shit happens to you. Don't know how long this stream is gonna be, but don't expect it to be that long. See how much of this I can take. Taking off your undies, word of advice. We're always gonna sleep over, try to wear something a little sexier. So the fact that we don't play as the main character and interact solely through the decisions of people around the main character is potentially interesting. Yeah, it's a pseudo game to give the illusion of choice. Yeah, Richard Townelli, that is this game. Are you smoking? Want one? I guess because of the way the writing has to work, all of the choices are fundamentally going to lead back into the same place and not have any actual, like, anything. Needles Cane 13, I think so? I'm not sure it's an actual theme park simulator. There doesn't seem to be, like, any meaningful decisions to make aside from the order in which you, like, place stuff down. And stuff just happens on its own. But also, you will always eventually, probably always eventually unlock everything at some point or another anyway. And I wouldn't say it's a disturbing visual novel, so much as it comes across as something written by a closeted pedophile. And it just jumps straight to this with a character we don't know and no further context. And it is being very explicit with the content, but not in a way that's actually mature about it. Just in a way that you're having a degree of intimacy with people that feels unearned and out of nowhere. Like, I don't know who these characters are. I'm basically just watching two people have inappropriate conversations. Two complete strangers having an inappropriate conversation in front of me. Yes, Sir Ratlich. You are interrupting your suffering that is so level 1 DS2 with something that is arguably worse, but in a different way. Like... oh, this is so bad. I think Neil's Cane, it's gonna be, like, disturbing in sort of the same way Safe Horny is disturbing. And that it's someone trying to be so aggressively non-threatening about it that it comes across as manipulative and disgusting. Like, I still don't have the context for this. Maybe it's because I wanted to go for something more disturbing than something that wasn't. But if you present the player options, and one of them results in something coherent and one of them doesn't, you've fucked up. Like, if the options are clearly equally weighted, and one of them doesn't do anything, you've screwed up somehow. It's like, not that I've actually played it, I've only seen someone else play part of it, but mouthwashing, for instance. It specifically tells a very fractured story with random bits of it from different perspectives in a way that you sort of piece it all together by the end. That requires a lot of skill to actually do. Every single scene needs to be able to stand on its own without context, which is less repeated since it's a linear story, but in this case it would be actually more important. All mannequins on the earthen peak? Are you not, like, shield poking them? It seems like to be quite easy to shield poke. All answer is going to be no. Or another game that I have heard done branching narratives relatively well was, what the heck was that one commie game where you play as that drunk homeless guy? And like he's a detective? I can't remember what it's called. But it actually has the narratives branch out and then organically go back together a fair bit later on. While there's ultimately only the illusion of choice in them. Why the Cupid? While there's an illusion of choice within the narrative of that game, it feels real because it doesn't shy away from it for like 3 seconds the way this does. The end result is always going back to the same place, but it actually branches back. Hello, the Royal Speedwagon. I hope you're happy to see me constantly criticizing everything about this game. All right. Oh yeah, Disco Elysium, that's the commie game. Look, if it's written by a commie, it's a commie game. That's why I'm not gonna play it. Unfortunately, the Royal Speedwagon, I have been alive. I've managed against all odds to survive, and now I'm back to grift money off of you. Oh god, it's so slow. Why is the panning this slow? I think it's a terror of consequences. That's what's so viscerally disgusting about the writing. Like, there's an innate, overwhelming, palpable fear about there being consequences for decisions that make it feel toothless in the character writing and artificial and sterile. Like 25%? It's a short game. Alright, this is the one. Fuck it, let's go with the Ferris wheel. Very clearly wants me to do this in order so that I have context for stuff. And if this game had... yes, J-Volts, that is what this is about. It gives the impression of one of those written by someone who was attracted to children. The rat lich that doesn't actually change my evaluation. Like, it's sort of like how you have all those people, like me, I guess, who use Chud as a self-stand-in despite him deliberately being a loser, but still sincerely holding on to those beliefs. I don't think being willing to laugh at yourself necessarily means that you don't believe in the things that you are. As was demonstrated by the guy when he thanked Marks at the fucking Game Awards. I'm going to be as uncooperative as possible. I think that's what I'm going to do. That is my feelings of this game so far. Just be uncooperative. Just try not to. Good God. Oh. Oh. That's so. That's. It's right up there with that makes me feel angry levels of writing. Give him a hug now is. It's Quirk Chungus millennial writing, essentially. Okay, great. I'm not convinced this had any sort of impact whatsoever on anything that happened. Meaning... Oh. So this is almost a gameplay. It's like a blub, I'm a blub fish. Okay. Hey, needless can. Why are they two children with boxes on their heads? Fucking now. Yeah, this is just a political piece masquerading as a game, and we all know it. Hey, Salo Aeolus. I hope you're excited to watch me suffer horrendous writing by political hacktivists trying to inject their ideology in the form of a game. I was completely right! From my opinions just trying to reach the menu. The same as how I was completely right about how Bleakest Keep would be a banger because it had goth chick with huge tits. Yeah, Ferris wheel that is also a clock is pretty cool. It's definitely not the first time it's been done. Guess you picked the gold bed. That's kind of what I'm assuming, J-Volt. I assume that's where this is going. Or they're going to say the opposite through complete and total lack of self-awareness. Why? Also, wouldn't this not work because you'd be kicking up the edges of the blanket and letting the hot air out? Okay, molested by his cousin. Cool. A hand on my fairy. Yep, it's just 2 molested kids. Okay, great. Cool, moving on. I feel like the end result of this is that they're probably going to say a message like it's not what happened to them that's damaging, it was the reactions of the people around them that did it. Yeah, it's simultaneously unpleasant and boring. I feel like I know where it's going with this, though. I feel like this is all a setup, like, it showed them not being freaked out about this in an attempt to set up the conclusion later that it's actually the reactions of people trying to stop it that are the real villain. Watch. I almost guarantee I'm gonna be correct. Huh? Oh, well, what do you think this game had those bulges for, Sala? Why do you think it had those crotch-shaped bulges while they were talking about moving their hands? Okay, this presumably doesn't actually do anything. How old is this game? I don't know. A couple years ago? Like 2023? Recent enough that this is officially this is a government-funded propaganda piece. Oh, well, I mean, we almost have a decision point. Because now we can do multiple things to get more shells more quickly. Can almost guarantee that there's going to be no possible way to bankrupt ourselves with this, but I'm going to try to see if we can't softlock. I mean, of course it was free. If it's free, you're the product. This is government propaganda. That's why it was funded by the government. Yes, government funded. It said that in the title screen. Not by the Canadian government, some European one. But really? 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 The moment I attempt to make a decision that could potentially have consequences, it says, no, you can't have consequences. That's not allowed in this game. You need to experience the story exactly how we presented it, because we all know the important part. Is our very carefully curated experience that you can experience in almost any order. One more. All right, now it won't let me do it. They wouldn't be allowed to experience the video game. You know, I think there was another game that I saw a while back that had a really similar concept of you do a thing and you get occasional flashbacks to stuff that happened. And the flashbacks were presented non-linearly. And you sort of had to piece together what was going on, because it was really just sort of a montage of highly emotional moments in the character's life. I don't remember what it was. I remember it being really interesting because it was always vague enough that you could have several different interpretations of it, which I quite liked. Vague storytelling where you actually have to have the audience participate in stuff is quite nice. It's one of the things that I've been working on for the game that I'm working on. Where one of the core things is the fact that you are never actually shown a single detail about the main character's backstory. But it is entirely possible to piece it together through environmental clues. I tried to be not particularly subtle about it. What's Q*bert's connected to the theme park? The framing device is that for some reason we're playing a video game on his computer and we get memories back when we build things. Riveting dialogue. Okay. Supposed to be the two old... What? Hello, Jormungandr. Hello, NetJetMichael64. What is the fucking purpose of having a faceless character if you're going to draw their face appearing above their head? One of the advantages of a faceless character is that you can keep their reactions to things somewhat ambiguous and force the reader, or in this case player, to project their own assumptions onto the faceless character. And if you're a truly skilled writer, you would be able to use that projection of assumptions onto the character as the basis for a subversion later on. Resonance appointed? Oh, you're causing a resonance cascade? Well, good luck, Jormungandr. But instead, they abandon the entire thing that makes a faceless character unique for storytelling because they're not convinced that either you or the audience will be able to understand their glorious vision without it. Oh, did the heart meter on the left go down? It just sort of swapped to a different JPEG when I wasn't looking at it. And I sort of saw motion out of the corner of my eye. Like, normally the way you want to convey that is you have it, like, gradually move down so that the player has time to, like, see the thing happening from the corner of their eye and look at it. I'm gonna keep my eye on the heart to see if it happens. Okay, yes. Why's my mouse battery dying? My mouse battery might be dying. I feel like it's going to be required, like it's going to max out at some point. Why the random inclusion of an affection meter over here? Like, you can see from the roses that it's supposed to be like a loose approximation of like dating sim stuff, but done by someone who doesn't actually know anything about it and views the entire medium with contempt. Yep, I can practically guarantee that's what's going on here. That was a very questionable line that I accidentally skipped past. The phrase discovering your body when you were younger. See, a self-aware writer that wasn't pushing a propaganda piece would have these lines and show them for what they are, that they're justifications for selfish hedonism and a denial of consequences of actions and accountability. Like, this would be a character saying something bad that the audience should not identify with, but because the author identifies with these beliefs, the audience is expected to do so. Okay, moving on. It's particularly hollow, the reaction of, whoa, you're already at 40% satisfaction from the Orca? When, I don't have a choice? Like, this game doesn't feature decision. It's not really a video game. Like, it's not possible to fail at the game. So it is definitionally not a game. And I do mean that. If you actually get down to the basics and drill into the basics of game theory, if there isn't a failure state, it doesn't qualify as a video game. Like, you don't need to be able to beat a video game for it to qualify as a game. Tetris, for instance, does not have a win condition, only a failure condition. And the same is true for basically every game since the dawn of time. Like, basically every sport is defined by the fact that someone loses at some point, rather than necessarily by the fact that someone wins. Even things that are played alone. And this game doesn't do that. So it's not actually a video game. Well, Bunzel, are there visual novels that don't have failure endings? Like, I genuinely can't think of any. I know almost every visual novel I've ever played, at least, had a bad ending and therefore qualifies as a game because there is a failure state. Not one with particularly deep or meaningful... I just noticed that these fucking things are Z-fighting. Like, it's a fucking pixel art game. How do you have Z-fighting in this shit? Linear novels. They have 0 choices. Those are just books, then. At which point, no, I don't think they would be a game. Alright, whatever. Yeah, they're novels and they're visual, but I wouldn't consider them a game. Seems really just selling books, yeah? I mean, there's a bunch of quote-unquote DLC on Steam that is literally just a bunch of separate files for the audio. And hello, Dwentverd 2678. And like, the audio for video games is not a book. Or not a video game, it's just music. It's just music files, and they're selling that. So Steam doesn't just sell video games. The Chinese room wants to talk with such hits such as Dear Esther and Amnesiac and Machine for Pigs. I am not sure what you mean by that. I'm pretty sure Machine for Pigs has failure states if you get caught by the thing. Oh, there are a bunch of names here that I didn't pay attention to. Let's ignore Tim and see what happens. Okay, so the main character is drawing in school. The monster from Legend of Felda. Wonder who that could be. Your monster is wearing the same shirt as you. Oh yeah, I guess. Ninth monster, an evil one. I'm not sure. He does have like a chunk of his head missing. And he's no longer see-through, which is probably symbolism for something. Oh, you mean Chinese room as in the developer, not Chinese room as in the thought experiment for if someone speaks Chinese. Okay. That makes more sense. Because if you're not familiar with the Chinese room, it is a thought experiment where there is someone who does not speak Chinese, who is in a room. Hello, heavy armored Halb. But someone who does not speak Chinese and is sitting in a room, and if you write down a message in Chinese and hand it to him, he has an infinitely large dictionary to which he can give an appropriate response by looking at the dictionary and writing on the characters and using that to reply. And in that case, does that person speak Chinese, is the question, more or less. I think there was something about like the nature of consciousness, like if there's someone who doesn't have like any actual language knowledge but is able to output a simulation of language, are they technically conscious? And that's why I was confused, because I thought you were referring to that thought experiment, and I could not see how that related to the Amnesia series. I mean, so Rattlers, you could argue that that's a failure state, but you could also argue that it's not, and it's kind of ambiguous. Welcome to the limitations of language itself. And hello, talking object. Go where the wind's now broken and brief. Okay, apparently she struggles with reading. This is Wednesdays. I do not recommend it. I recommend not being exposed to it at all. If I were watching my own stream, I probably wouldn't watch my own stream, despite this being a stream by my favorite VTuber. Ah, I see what you're doing, talking object. London. Da, da, da. Okay, moving on. I've been incest. What? Teacher failing to control her class at all. Cool. Anyways, Ratlich says, thought experience to see whether their actual games the product can be turned to books without anything significantly lost, but I genuinely dislike those devs. I mean, fair enough. I don't know anything about the devs. You're free to like them or not like them. That's your decision. The idea of straddling the line between book and video game is a useful thought experiment, I think, though. Not necessarily because, why do they say incest? I don't know, games 21479. I wasn't really paying attention because this writing makes me want to vomit. Like, I think actually just specifically designing things that are designed to straddle language definitions to point out that language is a thing that describes stuff and is not actually a box that things fit in is a very useful, like, thing to do. Because it can help people figure out, well, that language describes stuff but isn't stuff. Like how the exact point between orange and red is completely made up. Not that red and orange don't exist, it's just that the exact border between them is a human-derived category. And inherently subjective and personal, even though everyone could agree, well, almost everyone could agree that certain things are red when they are red. Anyway, as for what's even going on, this is government propaganda. It's free. Alright, Dwentvaird, enjoy your bread. Remember to leave this tab open to artificially inflate my viewer count, please and thank you. I was hoping it was 40%, and that was how close we were to the end of the game. Which government? Some EU government. I feel like I should just try to make this maximally. I should just go as far north as I can. I'm just gonna go straight north. We're gonna go straight to Ultima Thule and see what happens. I'd have to restart the game. It's in the pop-up at the start. Book or video game is the wrong way to think about when it's just interactive electronic media. That's exactly what I'm getting at, Charlie Fool. Interactive electronic media can span a lot of things, and I think the current description of games as its own specific category is broad enough to not necessarily be useful for describing the situation we currently have. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like VR chat is considered a video game, and a lot of the worlds within VR chat are just like worlds within VR chat, but a lot of them are more like interactive art pieces. And I think those are hella neat. I mean, everyone knows what a video game is, but they can't define when something stops being one. I can define when a game is or isn't. It's based around failure states. Yeah, if a VR chat is a video game, how is a forum not a video game? I think the primary difference would be the fact that a forum doesn't run in its own EXE. I genuinely think that's the only difference there. Like, I think if you made a forum that was just a thing you download off Steam and was otherwise just a forum, people would consider it a video game. Why play an audio-focused walking simulator with limited interactivity when you can play a podcast and take a walk? Good question, Sir Atlich. That's something I ask a lot. I ask similar things to a lot of people a lot of the time. Like, what's the point of watching sports when you can do sports? And I mean, I do actually have an answer to that question finally after all these years. Oh yeah, no, I'm like that all the time, games. And hello, Suko Sutso, CSSR. Watching sports is a failure state, so watching sports is playing a game. If watching sports is the failure state, that is a subset of the game of life. But, Talking Object, to answer that question, I know it's rhetorical, but I think there's a lot of RPGs where you don't even make decisions in a way that matters, so it could just, like, this functionally is just a DVD movie, a poorly written DVD visual novel, with an excessively fancy menu interaction. And what the hell is that going on about? Oh, right, the sports thing. It's, what the heck is the psychological term? A surrogate activity? Basically, they want to pursue the feeling of having won, so they identify themselves as part of a team, even though they're obviously not, and therefore they win and get that power rush from being a winner. And that's why they watch sports, because they're too fat and lazy, generally, to actually, like, win. Yeah, it's a tribe thing. They identify as part of a tribe so that they can get the rush of feeling like their tribe won. Can you bet on sports to make boxing a game? I mean, it makes the betting a game. It's obviously Jurassic Park's logo. I wonder if I can, like, report these guys to, like, the copyright police and fuck them over. I'm going to specifically pick the Reds, because I think that's going to offend the author's sensibilities the most. I feel like he would be most personally offended by people taking that option. Fuck it. We're going with dragons. using fossil fuels. Gotta say, this thing that I've done for the tea, which is different, is very nice. And the different thing that I've done is that the lemon juice that I'm putting in there isn't expired. And isn't like little bits of chunks floating in it. Pretty vast improvement, not gonna lie. Oh, and this is where he gets molested. Pteranodons would not be very useful at fighting beasts? I don't know about that, Charlie Fool. Have you heard of, what do you call them? Lazy dogs? I'm tempted to talk about something else other than this game a bit. I'm gonna go talk about lazy dogs, because they're one of my favorite things that people don't, use in fantasy settings, despite how unbelievably useful they would be for basically any fantasy setting. Also, I don't like this game. Here we go. Here's a couple of lazy dogs. Desktop. From the Royal Armories in Leeds. And hello, Art. No, Aret or RT Eduk. Where did I put the... mouse is definitely dying on me. Need to replace the battery or something. This doing something clear during a fever dream? Good to know. Good to hear. That is in fact... Wait. This gets saved to the wrong folder. Oh, it should be there. Why isn't it at the top? What? Oh, is Windows 10 just being garbage again? I hate this OS. I am so tempted to switch to Linux, you got no idea. Oh boy, and the search isn't even working. Come on. What do you mean no items matched by search? I just downloaded it! Here it is. Good God. Okay, here we go. This thing. This type of munition is called a lazy dog. It was used in, I believe, World War I. And, basically, it's just a chunk of either steel or tungsten carved into a dart shape. Because you can see those, like, long, you can see, like, how one of them has, like, fins as a stabilizer, and the other one has, like, little, like, carves into it that'll stabilize it so that it's always pointing tip down when it falls. It's called a lazy dog because the way these work is that you just put a bunch of them in some sort of container, fly over a guy, then open the container, and because of gravity and the way the stabilizing fins work, it'll just drop a bunch of darts into something and rip right through it. It completely decimated like any sort of infantry troops. It's an unguided kinetic projectile. There's no explosion to it. It's just a hunk of metal that gets dropped from a plane onto people. And in any fantasy setting, Any group that has flight will use these, because you can make these out of a friggin' flint-knocked stone if you gotta. And similarly, you could just, if you have something that can fly innately and is capable of using anything as a tool, you can just strap these to it, fly it over an enemy infantry position, yank a cord somehow to drop them all off, or train the, in this case, Pterodon to yank a cord when it sees enemies. And there you go. Now you have artillery. You have artillery bombing. You have an actual air force in a medieval fantasy setting that works exactly like real life. I mean, it was used for World War I, but yeah, no, this makes perfect sense for any sort of fantasy setting. Just use. How would these interact with shields? Generally, they would punch right through them. Like, unless the shield is all metal and relatively thick and held over the head, this will just go right through it. These things can punch through a metal helmet, trivially, as well. That's about all I have to say about lazy dogs. Basically, if you get to a high enough height with this, it can hit at about 700 feet a second. Which, God, how much energy is that? I mean, it depends on the weight of the thing. But generally speaking, a projectile like that slamming down at 700 feet a second is going to have more. It's going to inflict more damage than any medieval weapon. Just period. Any group that has flight in a fantasy setting, whether that's harpies or dragons or like someone with dirigibles, they just get those. They rain those on infantry, and anyone that doesn't also have flight loses. This very primitive hunk of shaped metal trivially makes it so that whoever has flight in a fantasy setting now is unstoppable, except by other people with flight. And this is why humanity is currently 3-0 in wars on birds. And one of those birds doesn't even know how to fly. And those are like, wait, wars on birds? What are you talking about? Well, the first war on birds that humans lost, which is probably the most well-known one, is the Emu War, where a couple of machine gunners with metal equipment were hired, well, not really hired, but ordered by the government to clear emus out of an area because after a period of historic droughts, they were moving into civilization and attacking people to take their water. And there was like a 2-week-long affair where they just got their ass beat by birds. They were smart enough to figure out the range of the machine gun and stay at that distance. They were smart enough to understand that they were unable to turn it quickly and circle around and attack the users. 1-3 wiped out the dodo. That wasn't a war. That was the dodo not knowing how to handle, like, being around cats. It's like how the cockapoo is going to get wiped out by cats. And yeah, China versus sparrows. The sparrows stopped their duties for maintaining stable insect population control, which led them going out of control and decimating the food supplies of the Chinese until the Chinese had to surrender to the birds, and the birds won because they're still birds, and there were like 100 million fewer Chinese afterwards. The KD ratio on that was insane. And the last one actually happened within the last year with President Trump, who lost a trade war to penguins. No, I'm serious. There was some uninhabited island that I think that America on paper had a trade deficiency with. Trade deficiency? What's the term I'm trying to say here? Trade deficit, that's the one. So he sanctioned them or put tariffs on them or whatever it was. But that country it doesn't have people living in it. It's a bunch of uninhabited islands with, like, penguins. So they did not meet any of the concessions. They did not give in to any of Trump's demands, and they simply kept doing what they were doing, and Trump eventually was forced to rescind the tariffs against the penguins. Which means that he lost the trade war against penguins, because they were not affected, and he eventually had to cave. Don't fuck with birds, you'll lose. That's the moral of the story. Yeah, I mean, birds, because of their massive amount of superior maneuverability, they can just wait out and attack our supply lines. Wasn't that just to prevent tariff circumvention by claiming the product was made there? I don't know. I also don't care. This is the funniest possible version of that story, therefore it's the one that I believe the most strongly. Anyway, back to this dog shit. Tell my wife and kids I love them. I mean, I hit a good stopping point, Needlescan, and I don't know where to continue from there, so I'm going to be stuck going back to the game, even though I'm barely paying attention to it. Because this gimmick outstayed its welcome by like 300%. Like, that could have been like 4 lines of dialogue. Okay, cool. The satisfaction of visit has no real use. Thanks for confirming that you're not even a video game. I appreciate it. Hey. I'm just gonna go north and see what happens. We're just gonna go as north as possible. Oh, it's a giant toilet. Okay. So this is presumably a recording from the point of view of the guy, and he's looking over memories after the breakup. Yeah, I mean, a giant toilet is the whole game. But like, it's government. Oh my god, that face is so fucking ugly. Holy shit. God. The eyes aren't even pointing in the same direction. I'm so tempted to show off some beta assets from Maya Game to somewhat demonstrate what good writing looks like. I wasn't even paying attention to what they were saying. I'm just gonna pick one at random. This game is called Wednesdays. Fort. Yeah, Fort. 4 RT. Fort. Aret Fort Edok. There we go. Dinosaur. Could you unpack that? Oh. Humans don't talk like that. I mean, there's people that talk like that, but they're not humans. Wolffire Humblebuttle's lawsuit against Steam? No, I didn't. Tell me about it. Yeah, I mean, the choices don't actually matter. There's a brief illusion of stuff happening to create, like, the most transparent attempt at shallow gameplay. I'm tempted to just, like, speedrun this. So I don't know if clicking on that and it vanishing was a glitch, or if it was a really interesting meta-narrative construction. I don't think that sort of meta-narrative stuff where choices that you pick don't appear. Actually, it might have been in that situation where I repeatedly picked nothing. Might have just disappeared and waited for the other one. Who ordered you to play this game? It was called Wednesdays. It was free on Steam, and I looked like a weird game. And I stream weird games on Wednesday, and I was like, oh, I should give it a shot. I don't know anything about it. Okay, that was deliberate. Representing avoidance of the topic at hand. Okay. Anti-monopoly suit against Facebook, which didn't even greater than 6% of the market. If you even get a teeny tiny bit loose with the definition of social media to the point that includes TikTok. All right. Okay, so we're actually halfway done. And he's telling me to stop playing, so I might do that. I was giving it a decent ending. I mean, hopefully it has a bad everything else. Anyway, I'm gonna be right back and get myself more tea. All right, Hazmat, I'm gonna need to explain why that's a huge can of worms. Because I follow the logic. Does that imply that Google's Play Store and like Apple's App Store are gonna be like the actual monopolies, or what? Anyway, when I do display the thing in a stream, Brutal Orchestra. I have not Syphilis 4242. Do share. I am quite curious. Is it like some kind of like metal orchestra thing? Because that sounds exactly up my alley. And hello, Above Average Gaming. It's a shame this game sucks and I hate everything about it and the fact that it even exists. Because otherwise, I would really like that goofy haunted house ride sprat. I love like haunted houses like that. They're great. So basically the argument that Steam is putting forth is that if they are a monopoly, so are a bunch of other bigger players. But it would definitely empower storefronts for specific devices to be as monopolistic internally as they want. Okay. Go against this infinite there. We're going to click because indie games were exclusively the first thing among a platform that was hard to get in back then. My honest opinion on the thing, on the whole debacle, is that Steam is a privately owned company rather than a publicly traded one, which means it's good instead of evil. Oh, that is unfortunate, Above Average Gaming. My condolences. But basically, what I was saying, you know how Arizona iced tea has been 99 cents forever? That's because it is a privately traded company, and the owner is like, I don't want to try and raise prices to increase profits. I'm happy where we are. Whereas publicly traded companies are legally obligated to maximize shareholder values and can be sued if they fail to do so. That's why basically every publicly traded company is completely evil, because they are obligated to put profits above everything else. And that is naked greed, which is not just socially corrosive, but societally destructive. Yes, and Hazmat brings up the court case. So I think I spoke in the Discord earlier about how Ford, rather than trying to maximize profits, was trying to maximize happiness by creating stuff. Like, he was building schools for his workers' children and like giving them housing and like specifically investing in his workers to create a better country. And Dodge Motors sued him for that because he wasn't maximizing shareholder value. And I believe that case was the precedent that that became just a legal thing. Can public turn into private? I think if someone controls a large enough number of shares within the company, they can then choose to do that, but I'm not sure. Oh, so I can control the decision for both characters. Okay, sure. Yeah, you can go private, but you just require a pilot. That's what I figured. I am not super up to date on business lore. You want to unwrap it. Taken off the list as stock contains. Ah, that makes sense. You know, I could ramble about economy of language here. Because, like, there's so many words here that aren't actually being used to characterize anyone. And they're just sort of words that are happening and don't contribute anything. But okay, see him pushing back was the first thing that mattered. What about the new roommates? It's a nightmare. In the last Sov stream. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Last Sovereign. It has a big issue with economy of words, but that's the pretty much only major issue it has with its writing. Like, there's too much of it and it needs an editor. But it's not like it's badly written, it's just overwritten. Heat and the heat ending. Okay, and now he fucking touchdown, 7-point score, does the end goal dance. Come on. Oh. The intrusive thoughts did not win. The evil has been unleashed. Oh, discussing economics in general. Ha, yeah. Yeah, but that's tangentially related. Yeah, 3 different ways to say the same thing. Oh my god, why? I say one thing from this guy and then she immediately says other thing. I'm not even like making decisions here. So we're gonna go through the whole thing about all of those. Going to shut down all of them, and none of these choices actually matter. Mm-hmm. No idea what this game even is. Government propaganda. That's all it is. What's the most expensive? This one! We're just gonna keep going north. When does the game get fun? Never. When it ends, talking object. When there is no game left. This game will become enjoyable because you will be able to do something else and I get to show off a bit of my game. Which, I mean, the assets for it are all like first drafts, a lot of them are work in progress. You're gonna see like pink lines around stuff, which is Death Magenta. Which is just there to remain as a visual border so I know exactly where each section of the sprite sheet starts and ends. It's all like pre-alpha shit. But I'm still kind of proud of what I call the establishing shot of the game. Plus, I'm strongly considering reworking the main character's design, because I've still only done one draft of that and don't really know how to improve it. There's certain aspects of it that I want to keep, like the injury on her neck, because those are vital to the lore. As is the bandage. But the rest I'm just not sure about still. Plus, I'm going to be redrawing all of her sprites anyway, because I originally drew them at 1:1 resolution. I'm going to be moving to 2:1 because that's much easier for me to work in for long periods. Plus, that came when I was trying to draw a dumpster as it would be to scale, and it was like 100 something by, no, it was like 200 something by friggin' 150 or something. I'm just like, it's not even really a dumpster pixel art at that point. That's just a picture of a dumpster that's been downscaled. And I'm not good at drawing things at that large of a resolution. Wow, meaningful choices. Did any gameplay happen? Nope. No. What do you think this is? This is government propaganda. I didn't know about that when I put this on the schedule. I just thought that it was free and called Wednesday. Whee! Probably gonna try and speed through this, just so I can call this done. Oh boy, what have the uncle done? Okay. But it's suicide in jail. For being Nestor the Molester. Making very sure to use the very specific terms for it that would not crop up in casual conversation, because this isn't a demonstration of humans interacting, this is a demonstration of two political mouthpieces interaction. Oh, above average gaming. Oh man, above average gaming. Once this stream is over, go back and jump to about the 15-minute mark. Oh, now it's okay. I didn't see it at all. Roguelite turn-based RPG on Steam. Oh, I was hoping it was gonna be like a music thing. Boop, boop. But yeah, I actually legitimately gave up on, before I even started streaming this game, when I had gotten to the part, I don't really feel this one. I talked about it at the start of the stream. I'm going to tell you again real quick. Before I had even like booted up the game to play it on Steam or on stream, the intro bit leading up to the options menu to get this in windowed mode so I could stream it was what got me to give up on this game. Ah, finally. Like, the moment I saw that this had like 4 trigger warnings at the start, I'm like, oh, it's one of these games. I had this whole rant about how like Silent Hill 2 did all of these ideas, but like good instead of fucking terrible. Yeah, both of them talking like fucking medical textbooks. Oh my god. I actually bonked the mic while it didn't have the muffler on it. What did I think of the Silent Hill 2 remake? It exactly met my expectations. My expectations were not high. Which is to say, I felt like it was going to be a shallow copy of the original, worse in most ways. And it was, and it also heavily missed the point, and doesn't understand what subtlety is. And I mean, if you enjoyed it, that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm saying it's inferior to the original. Is the gameplay better? That depends on what your criteria for better is. Because, like, if your term for better is simply creates a more visceral sense of satisfaction from beating the bad guy and winning, then it is much better at that. If your definition of gameplay includes, how do you put this? Ludonarrative synchronicity, where the stiffness of the controls puts you in a specific headspace that's more receptive to the themes of the game, then no, the gameplay is massively worse. It's similar to how in Dark Souls it would be less satisfying to play if you could freely cancel anything because there would be no sense of powerlessness at times. All bosses for the original game. For Silent Hill 1? I don't remember that at all. I'm not saying you're not right, but I don't remember that at all. The whole not remembering things thing. Didn't prevent us growing up normal. But would have been trying to just no bother with this one. Don't mind it. Silent Hill 2 melee only. Oh, okay. I'm certainly not considering that anymore. But also above average gaming, nobody paid for this stream. The story is this game is called Wednesdays, and it looked like a weird game, and I do weird games on Wednesdays, so I thought it'd be weird game Wednesdays would be funny. It was a mistake, but it's not a mistake I'm willing to back down from, because backing down from your mistakes is for cowards. Knowing that you're doing the wrong thing and continuing to do it anyway is the Chad move. Oh, is this how far north you're allowed to go? I can't expand any further north? Okay, so it's pretty overt that we got molested by Giovanni. Cool. My park kind of looks like a penis. So that's the maximum north I can go. That's gonna be maximum left. Can't go any further south than that, unfortunately. God, I wish I thought about this earlier. I could make it spell out something funny. Like I could shape the park like loss. Oh, there's a whale there. I'm gonna go kill that whale. Alrighty, later games 31479. Remember to leave the stream open in a tab and muted to artificially inflate my viewer count, please and thank you. I could have just gaslit into playing something else. I probably could have. But I also kind of enjoy talking shit about bad video games. So like, while not enjoying the game, I'm enjoying hating the game. I need to feel bad from something in order to hate it, which I've accepted as part of the cost of the enjoyment of hating the game. It's like how dieting is an important prerequisite for being attractive. Oh shit! We might actually have choices that do anything! Why do some have blocked their heads and some don't? Working theory that it represents getting molested as a child. Sure, let's go with that. Want some chill. I didn't even pay attention to what the conversation was. Well, for losing weight, I wouldn't say dieting makes you attractive in and of itself. Well, it does if it's successful, because a lot of people are more attractive when they're more thin. Have I ever played Shadow Hearts? Isn't that the one in I think the only exposure I've had to Shadow Hearts is that one Penny Arcade comic from like 2005, where one of the guys was on the phone with his mother and said, "Hey, hold on a second," and then told the other guy, "Yo, remember to check his flower pots. There's probably gay porn in his flower pots. You need that to get a better dress for your doll." And then his mother was very concerned about him. Women aren't because I'm thin as bones. Do you see how broad my shoulders are? No. No, and besides, fasting stimulates the release of human growth hormone and is actually useful for putting on mass. The second game may have been the second game. After that, though, I've seen many ugly twig ladies. Some of them are even slated to be attracted by magazines, but they are ugly. I mean, yeah, if you diet, but come on, who many people actually diet too much, aside from like that one Tumblr chick who's like actually a skeleton? For the most part, everyone could afford to lose a couple of pounds. See, this is a kind of interesting mechanic where you get to make decisions about the symbolism of a thing during a conversation. This is actually a cool idea. This is the first time that this game has done anything that is worthy of the faintest bit of praise. What would be really masterful if this was the sort of thing that actually influenced how the conversation worked, which led to further ideas, or not further ideas, but like further development of the interactions. Like this could theoretically be the framework in which a good game, a aspect of a good game could exist. It's not, but there is potential in this one idea. Grain of sand in the well-oiled machine of incest. The fuck is this dude even talking about? Here, monster. Also, here's the other thing above average gaming. Intermittent fasting helps with mental health. It also generally makes exercise more effective because, like I said, it helps with the human growth hormone. Get from 230 to 170. Nice! Host Tulpar Anya if she lived from mouthwashing or D'Ars. What am I picking them for? I'm leaning towards D'Ars, because I've never actually played mouth watching and I don't know who Anya is. And when you say Anya, I can only think of that one HoloLive VTuber that nobody likes except me. Being hungry is better. Generally, yes, actually. The human body is well adapted to going 2 or 3 days without food. Like, that's just a thing it does. Because sometimes hunting takes a while. And then you eat a lot a couple of days later, and then you're fine for another couple of days. Anya Maleficent, that might be the one. The one who's like some kind of sword or whatever. I don't really watch VTubers. I mean, that comes into what you're calling a definition of a diet. Like, a calorically restricted diet done through, like, not eating on certain days is still a diet. But we're brushing up against the limits of language rather than arguing over something with substance. Anya Forger. I think I may have forgore about her. God, it's a good thing I can't ban myself from my own chat because I would for a joke like that. Isn't the kind of painting that's ever done, sure. Yes, I've heard good things about mouthwashing, and I've heard bad things about mouthwashing's story. Cool, I think this is all of the rides. I'm pretty sure this one is meant to be the last one. Let's just slowly turn this into a C, I guess. Also, well, I have vague understanding of mouthwashing, like I've heard of it, I've seen someone else play through part of it. And I'm aware of there being a lot of really whiny Twitter idiots who get super butthurt about Anya. I think that was her name. Like the chick who's like purple, like either her lipstick or her eyes or her hair was purple. The Wheel of Fate, you had to time the spinner on the wheel for everything. Okay. Yeah, there's like a pretty interesting core central gimmick. You can dance into a visual novel instead of gameplay meant to result. Good narrative. I do remember one part where they make the player like manually saw off a dude's body part in order to create the feeling of complicity within the player, like that they are some way responsible for what's happening. And I think that's actually a very vital, like, ludonarrative thingamabobber to get the player to feel certain ways that couldn't be achieved in a visual novel medium. Close door, button, empty well. Sure. Oh, what is this writing? Oh my god. So there's this thing in writing called show don't tell. And the idea behind it is that you show what's happening instead of just saying it. And like, if they showed you playing Zelda and then had you make decisions, that would have been an interesting bit of meta-narrative commentary on the structure of video game storytelling. But that's something a good game would do. Gotta go for the meme. Does this repeat every 3? Nope. Okay. I mean, even if they aren't allowed to show it, they could show a Zelda knockoff. Like, they could put effort there. I know that the point isn't the game, but it's them playing the game. But having them describe what's happening on the screen when I'm looking at a screen where they could show me what's happening would be making effective use of the medium. Oh god, they've transitioned to some sort of horrible, like, pick your own, I have to pick specific things to make it work. No, I was hoping to shut my brain off and be able to think about anything else other than this game. Need the Tad or Nina flippers. Sure. I mean, yeah, Sir Ratlich, but this isn't about, like, them making a good piece of propaganda. This is about how someone else in the future might do something similar and have it be good. Thank God. Okay. Just pause it, idiot. Why was I the one selecting Moan there? Come on. It's teenagers watching porn, great. Cool. That was not necessary in the slightest. What we have learned from that is that there's a character who's an asshole. Okay, yeah. So how many are left? 3. We're almost over this piece of shit. What the hell is going up? Oh, this is way... Way flashback, okay. Cool. Why is it showing the 3 frames over and over again? Little too dead to explain it. Oh my god, why? What the fuck is it? I don't even want to think about whatever bullshit they're putting about here. Probably some gobbledygook about, oh, there's enough for everyone, therefore you're not entitled to the stuff that you've made. Walls don't protect you. Ah. Keep things. They keep things I want to kill you in bad weather outside. Yeah, walls are great. They do all sorts of stuff. That's why we have them, like 4 of them around a house. Because they're actually like really valuable and good. Thanks, random tutorial orca. It was just acting all kinds of real fucking weird. I mean, anything about this game that is remotely positive is wasted on this game. Why is there a satellite? Overly online weirdo loses his perspective on how the physical world works. Which is worse, this or Yik? I haven't played Yik, but I'm leaning away from Yik, because Yik has gameplay. It's, well, I guess that depends on how you want to define worse. This certainly has fewer redeeming features within its runtime, but Yik goes much longer. So are you measuring worse by absolute volume of badness, or are you measuring it by relative amount of badness?
Bunch of different words, okay.
Which is a more visual experience overall? Well, is it prolonged mild suffering that's more worse than concentrated suffering? And I think that's mostly a matter of perspective and how you view the word itself.
Here, this one.
Personally, due to my viewpoint, which is that it's total volume of misery rather than intensity that matters, I would say Yick is probably worse. Is the satellite talking? I think it's supposed to be a creative metaphor to represent them talking to each other over the phone, and this is how they're communicating.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like one cube head and another cube head, because presumably cube head represents molested. No, the protagonist, I think, is transparent cube head, and other types of cube heads are different characters. But cube head represents molested. Oh, that's mostly annoying. Okay, sure. Then with the final one, we'll reconnect it over there. Then I'll be over this dog shit game. Alright, was this the last one? I think this might have been the last one. If you don't have an option to not achieve the failure state, or at least interact with it in some way, then it's not really a failure state. It is something that, an event that occurs. Following that logic, that'd be like the princess getting kidnapped at the start of Mario is the failure state, and therefore, but that's not the logic anyone applies. Do I even know who this chick on the right is? Was this the guy he lost his virginity to, or what? Guards and Mario totally getting fired. Are they? Are the issue that there's not enough guards? You think that's his mom? Okay, apparently it is. I guess I couldn't tell. The character designs in this game are not particularly distinct. They all share the same body type, most of the same, and the facial structures vary wildly based on what time period it takes place in. Ah, so that's why it's called Wednesdays. He was raped on a Wednesday. Okay. So we're just forced to endure an uncomfortable conversation between two characters that the game has failed to get me to invest in. And our takeaway is that sometimes there are uncomfortable conversations, I guess. Cool, whatever. Okay, we're at the ending. Thank God. I'll be able to build any others afterwards. There isn't even anything else to build. Why would you even have this pop up? The fuck is the point? I guess I could put down attractions which also don't do anything? Which the game explicitly took the time to say? Completely incoherent design. Uncomfortable. I'd say it's more disgusted at, but not like disgusted at the events within the game, disgusted at the person who made a game with those events. You know what, I'm just gonna, fucking, whatever. I was gonna keep picking Say Nothing, just to see what happens. Because I'm not invested in this game at all. Oop, I accidentally clicked the thing. Let's just go straight to the raped. See, an effective version of like telling this same concept is again done in Silent Hill 2. It's not just like have things happen, it's like show the effects of what it does psychologically to the person, which is what they did with What's Her Face in the white sweater. Yes, talking object, it is. I am almost pleasantly surprised that it hasn't yet said that he is like secretly in the right and society is the one that's wrong for judging him. I may have been wrong about that, but we'll see. It could still do that. There's no connection between being bi and raping kids. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. Do the details in the background just get fade away? Okay. Moving on. 2 other cousins. Met them. Kill their parents. And what do? Had to see a shrink every week for 2 years. The implicit support that therapy even does anything most of the time. Cool, can we get to the ending? Oh, I'm gonna ruin someone's life. Dang it. Sure, let's make him talk to people. There's no option to just... So even the choices don't matter in the slightest, even in the ending sequence where they wouldn't affect anything. And it would just be a small bit of player agency. What were you waiting for? I don't even think it's a grand metaphor. I think it's just some symbolism because fuck, an arty game is supposed to have symbolism, and there's no further thought. Okay, and now what? Unlocked Virgin Island. Okay. And that's the ending? Yep. Man, what a fucking awful game. Oh, I guess there's more. Damn it. Why was the creepy uncle's punishment so light? Because everything I have gotten from the story is the implicit thing that the author wants to get across is that it's not that bad and you don't need to punish me, I mean him, for doing this. Discussing the contents without making an account flagged by Twitch. It's fine. It's government propaganda. Twitch approves this stuff. Twitch is 100% on board with this game. If we're going to get flagged for anything, it'd be for criticizing what they would view as a masterpiece. Pap Or over. Sure. When did this game came out? I mean, you can check the Steam page. Okay, so is this... I can't tell if this is... Oh, March 25th, 2025. Well, there's your answer. This year. I guess it's symbolic literalism, maybe? No, yes, it's complicated. Yes, keep absolving the serial rapist. Excellent. That's exactly what you should be doing in this game. If you're, you know, trying to absolve serial rapists. Like, if the whole story involved this level of symbolic literalism, it could be, like, interesting. Okay, cool, whatever. I mean, it never gave me a choice, it just stopped pretending. Alright, I think it's finally over. Oh, I can click to make it... In Art France, the Pixel Hunt with... Yeah, from the CNC. I don't know what the CNC is, it could be Canadian something. Holy shit! I mean, yes, talking object, but it's also apparently the writer. Like, this is... I have to look this up. I have to compare this. The one with his mouth closed? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. You will understand. You will understand in just a second. Oh, not there. And then filters. Chroma key. No, not color correction. Chroma key. Some color white. Hold on. Why is it not? There we go. Okay. Okay, never mind. That won't work. I don't know why it's being weird about chroma key. Okay. Let me just transform, flip horizontal, stretch it out a bit. Like, it's almost 1-to-1. Hey, oh, hold on. It's the same guy. It's literally the same guy. Holy shit. It's literally the same guy. The meme has more masculine glasses. I mean, true. Look, I guess Wojak, or Soyjak, I guess, needed to get his prescription updated and got even more horrible frames, but, like, it's the same guy. Like, it's literally just Wojak. This is this game made by Wojak about how he got molested. And why it's okay for him to be weird around your children. Okay. Cool. Let's just skip down a bit. It's funny how they put more effort into the self-portraits than any of the artwork in the actual game. They very much knew where their priorities lied and acted on it. Ability, blah, blah. How are there this many names involved in a game that I could make solo in a week? What? Okay, wow, that game is dog shit. All right, give me just a second. Give me just a second. I'm going to show you a small preview of the thing that I have been working on. Do kindly not be too harsh, because remember, like I said previously, like you're going to have Jeth Magenta on everything. A lot of the assets are beta. The back sprite that's going to be visible isn't even finished. Probably going to redesign the character. I might keep some of the tile set stuff. But all of it's just like pre-alpha assets. It's still in the really early phases. And let me just set up the capture. What would it be? Well, I'll probably use game capture for that. Hold on. Oh, I already have one for that? Hold on. Or no, I probably have that as a window capture name. There we go. All right. Yeah, it's not gonna be the most super impressive thing ever. It's just, it's still like super beta, but it is all set up now. Feel free to criticize away. It's probably the first public showing of anything I've done for it. Oh god, I still need to redraw those fucking water textures as well. They're fucking awful. I also need to actually like animate the waves and completely redraw that like flat color back sprite. And that's it. That's more or less what I consider the establishing shot. Are the waves supposed to look like grabbing hands? Yeah, that's why the you can see claw marks on the beach instead of the waves like smoothing it out. And unfortunately, talking object, I can't draw in that style. I'm not talented enough for that. It's all just programmer art anyway. Anyway, with that said, I'm gonna go find someone for you to raid. Fuck it, Ira. Let's raid for Ira. Cool. Tot. On Friday, I will be starting Final Fantasy VII. If the streams do well, I might actually play through the whole thing. I played Final Fantasy VII like back at launch, but I don't remember any of it. Worst Wednesday ever. Yeah, it's a good one. And let's see. Yeah, if it does well, I'll do more Final Fantasy VII because I don't remember most of it. Like, I have vague memories of it, but I don't remember, like, anything outside of Midgar. And I mean, I think I've seen someone play through part of the remake, but that's about all I have for exposure for it. So it'll be a blind playthrough, functionally, sort of, technically. And if the numbers are good, I'll keep doing it. But, for now, kindly get the heck out of here. Oh, right. Wait. Raid message. There's your raid message. Now get the heck out of here.